um no way to really ease into it, but Vince McMahon was like, "Oh, let's see what they talking about." This video is 17 minutes long, so this is gonna be a longer video. Let's see. All right.
Want to grow your YouTube channel, but getting low engagement? Here is the key to your YouTube success.
On today's wrestling news, Vince McMahon resigns in disgrace again.
Has The Rock signed a deal to wrestle for WWE? The latest update on Kazuchika Okada and Mercedes Money's futures.
Are you ready? Are you ready for the news time? My name is Phil Chambers. I'm joined by Gareth Morgan and Salty Sea Dog's here, but you can't see him. To talk about all things wrestling news. And the biggest thing in wrestling news, by far, obviously, is Vince McMahon and the fact that he has now resigned from TKO and WWE and everything he has to do with those two companies. So this is coming after an ex-employee filed a lawsuit against McMahon and John Laurinaitis, the former head of talent relations, and WWE itself, alleging sexual assault and sex trafficking of her in and outside of WWE. Now, Sean Ross Sapp originally broke the news of him resigning, first saying that WWE President Nick Khan sent a memo out to staff saying, "I want to inform you that Vince McMahon has tendered his resignation from his positions as TKO Executive Chairman and on the TKO Board of Directors. He will no longer have a role with TKO Group Holdings or WWE." Now, shortly after that, Vince McMahon himself issued a statement to Deadline about this, saying, "I stand by my prior statement that Miss Grant's lawsuit is replete with lies, obscene made-up instances that never occurred, and is a vindictive distortion of the truth. Out of respect for the WWE Universe, the extraordinary TKO businesses and its board members and shareholders, partners and constituents, and all of the employees and superstars who helped make WWE into the global leader it is today, I have decided to resign from my executive chairmanship and the TKO Board of Directors, effective immediately." Now, obviously, this story is absolutely huge, and if you read through the lawsuit itself, it is absolutely horrifying. You definitely have a content warning on that, but if you take the time to read through the whole thing, you will understand how bad this is. It is grim. So fallout has obviously started coming from this. Now, Slim Jim, one of WWE's biggest sponsors for decades, has pulled out of all of its current dealings with WWE. Now, obviously, they've got a long and storied history with WWE, Slim Jim, and they were set to sponsor the Royal Rumble tonight as well. They put out a statement saying, "Slim Jim values integrity and respect in all our partnerships. Given the recent disturbing allegations against Vince McMahon, at this time we've decided to pause our promotional activities with WWE. This decision reflects our commitment to our brand values and responsibility to our community. We will continue to monitor the situation and base our future engagements on our values and what is best for our brand." Now, on top of this, everything related to Vince McMahon has been removed from WWE Shop. The Wrestling Observer newsletter, Dave Meltzer, is also reporting that WWE talent has been told to lay low and not discuss anything other than the Royal Rumble and related storylines to the press and in the public regarding all of this. Now, I will apologise, there's a lot of statements and things that I have to go through and get right, so a lot of this is just me reading, but I just want to make sure I've got everything right before we move on. So PW Insider Elite also has a report about the backstage reaction to all of this within WWE, saying that there is a mix backstage of relief and happiness. McMahon, there's quotes of saying that McMahon got what was coming to him, and apparently those in the company expect much more fallout from this, obviously, after the Slim Jim deal, and that this is not the end of it. There will be more to come. They also say that Vince's resignation happened much faster than anyone expected it to, and there is a lot of speculation that Endeavor and TKO may sweep out anyone else close to McMahon, kind of hinting that employees within his inner circle or ones who left when he resigned the last time and returned when he forced his way back into the company could be cut should Endeavor and TKO want to kind of start over with a clean slate. Also stating that anyone's connection to McMahon may be seen as a major negative going forwards. Now, some employees are reportedly hoping that Stephanie McMahon may make a return, but obviously it's a very different company to what it was when she first left. She resigned from her position as co-CEO after Vince McMahon came back out of retirement initially and reinstated himself onto the board of directors, which was to instigate the sale to Endeavor and formed the TKO and the merger with UFC. So obviously it's a very different company now to the one that she left. Now, on top of all of this, the lawyer for Janelle Grant, Ann Callis, has spoken publicly for the first time since the lawsuit was filed. She was on Crime Fix on the Law and Crime Network, saying that Janelle Grant was physically and mentally destroyed by what she alleges McMahon did to her during her tenure at WWE, later stating that Grant literally felt caged and imprisoned by Vince McMahon and the escalation of degrading things that happened to her. It is important for it to come out. She believes that filing the lawsuit is the first step. Filing this lawsuit took tremendous courage from her. She went on saying that the way that the grooming of Janelle went on, it just indicates that there are a lot of indicators that there may be and probably are other victims out there. And one of Janelle's hopes by coming forward with all of this is that it gives other people the courage to come forward as well, other victims of Vince McMahon. She went on to talk about what Janelle wants from this, what her goals are from getting this lawsuit out there, and basically just said that she wants her life back. She wants ownership of her story. She wants to help other victims. This is relatively close in time. It was only 2019 when this started and carried on through 2020. And her hope is to help other victims, if there are other victims, to help them, give them the courage to come forwards, because she had the courage and the presence of mind to finally get this done and come forward. She hopes any doors of secrecy have been blown off their hinges and that fresh air fills the headquarters. She hopes that those at the company, past and present, who fear speaking out about harm is a thing of the past. She wishes everyone peace. So yeah, obviously a lot to go through there, but just wanted to make sure you have everything, because this is definitely an unfolding story, and there will be a lot more to come from this yet.
There really will. It's shocking. I know it seems like a word that really doesn't do any of this justice, but it is shocking. Horrific reads. You really believe victims is the big thing. Believe survivors and all the rest of that. But it's,
I guess she was just the executive.
I guess a major positive, if you can take any positive away from this, it looks like Vince is gone now. Fully gone. That looks like that's something that's won't be undone, let's say, as it was about a year or so ago, whenever it was. The statements speak for themselves, and I really just implore anybody who's kind of looking at this story, has any interest in it, just read everything out there, get as much information as you can.
Read the full lawsuit. Genuinely, it's horrifying. And
slightly switch gears, obviously, towards more speculation news within the wrestling world, because we are now officially tonight on the road to WrestleMania. So let's talk about all things Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, all that kind of stuff. And the first thing we're going to talk about today, when it comes to all that, the Wrestling Observer newsletter, the Wrestling Observer newsletter obviously dropped Friday night, Friday, and Dave Meltzer had loads of things that he was obviously going through there, and a big old weekend. And one of the big things was he was talking about The Rock. The Rock's had a massive week, obviously, with WWE. He was appointed to the board of directors for TKO. He got his name. He owns his name now. He owns The Rock, and he was dropping a few hints on the First Take show for ESPN that this Roman Reigns match looks like it could definitely be a thing at WrestleMania. We don't know, obviously, but he was saying stuff like, this feels like it could be the biggest WrestleMania ever if we do that. So he's not normally that forthcoming with his talking about returning, and it seems like all arrows are pointing in that direction. But Meltzer said that while he hasn't actually officially agreed a deal right now with WWE to wrestle again, the key word said about that is yet. That's not happened yet, but these things can move rather quickly, and he's very much involved with the company right now. So if he just suddenly turns around and goes, yeah, there we go, let's do it, he's just going to do it, isn't he? He's been really strong on bringing that match to the show of shows, in particular to WrestleMania, but that, as of right now, still isn't locked in. So that's, again, there's hope for Cody. Okay, I'll just get out of the way. There's still hope, but yeah, that's, again, it looks like that's where he'd want that match to be. It was also explained within this little report that the idea of perhaps taking this match to Saudi Arabia has been floated around, has been suggested. This is on the back of the crazy numbers that has been paid for boxing matches recently. So why wouldn't WWE want to get in on a bit of that dollar? But The Rock is said to be headstrong on putting this match on at WrestleMania. He wants his Mania moment. He's never had any. So he's
just not had enough.
Never had a Mania moment. So yeah, The Rock looks like he's not signed that deal yet. Not yet is the key word, and it looks like he definitely wants this match to happen at WrestleMania. If it is going to happen, would that be The Rock's last match? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe he does have a match in Saudi Arabia at some point. If the money's big enough, you bet the Great One's probably going to take it, isn't he?
Yeah, he's on the board of directors at TKO now. It kind of makes sense. He's got a vested interest in how much money this company makes now. So he's obviously looking at himself going, yeah, I can make quite a lot of money with this. And it makes sense. He would, absolutely. Whether it's WrestleMania or whether it's in the Saudi shows, he's going to make some goddamn money from this. But it feels like the WrestleMania thing, like as much as I want Cody to finish the story, it does feel like it's a now thing to do. It makes a lot more sense. It's obviously WrestleMania 40, WrestleMania XL, it's a big anniversary show, but in terms of like Roman Reigns being at the top of the company right now, and if you're gonna do it, it makes sense to do this version of Roman Reigns versus The Rock. And yeah, The Rock's not old, but like getting on in years, and he's probably not going to have that many wrestling years left in him. Obviously, he's got a very, very limited schedule in terms of the things he does. But it feels like it makes a lot more sense to do it kind of now rather than later, and with like the whole "there's no smoke, no fire without smoke, no smoke without fire" even thing, or whatever it is. Those really famous sayings that I definitely can't say. He's back on the board. He's got the Rock name. Like it all feels like it's like happening right now, and it's, if you don't pull the trigger on it right now, like why not pull the trigger on it right now?
Jorge has always put the ones he loves first, but when it comes to caring for his teeth, he's let his own maintenance take a back seat. Well, maybe it's time to shift gears on that, because Aspen Dental has the latest technology and equipment.
Yeah, and speaking of people pulling the trigger on things, well, Tony Khan looks to have pulled the trigger on two massive signings. That's according to Dave Meltzer in the most recent edition of the Wrestling Observer newsletter, again, because he said that when it comes to the AEW side of things, they believe they're under the impression that both of these megastars will be joining the company very soon. So let's talk about a bit of money first. Sasha Banks, or the former Sasha Banks, obviously. She's super multi-talented. She's been doing a bit of acting work recently, but then after this now, it's looking like she will be jumping over to AEW, and not only will the debut of Money reportedly be played up extremely big, like she's a megastar, here's what you do, apparently the announcement of her arrival could drop soon, so that could be very, very soon that we get the graphic. That'd be amazing. Meltzer, though, did say, he was quick to note that even though like this looks like it is going to happen, that Money is going to go to AEW, she was very much negotiating with WWE in the wake of appearing at All In 2023 in Wembley, and though they couldn't see eye to eye and they couldn't agree on the money, ironically, unless a contract has been officially signed, nothing's a lock. Like that's just the wrestling world, isn't it? Unless you've got that printed and it's done, nothing is certain in this world. That being said, Sean Ross Sapp took to X, and around there's been a lot of money stuff drop over the last couple of hours. With all this up in the air, he said that he asked a WWE source this weekend who'd been working on the Royal Rumble about the possibility of Mercedes Money showing up, and the answer was, well, we're not really interested in contract tampering with her, so I doubt it. So it looks like that could probably be classed as a bit of a spoiler. Yeah, I think she is. Yeah, it looks like she's definitely going to go to AEW, which is exciting times, obviously. And then on the Okada side of things, the last Dave Meltzer heard, he hadn't really fully decided where he's going to end up. So even though people on the AEW side feel really confident that he is going to go there, which fair enough, but in Okada's mind, I guess, the last thing Meltzer heard was he's still just weighing everything up, and so he should really get people to like go mad on a bidding war and give him all the money because he deserves it. Should he sign with AEW? A debut at probably Revolution 2024 seems most likely, because that's on March 3rd, and I believe his last date with New Japan is February 24th, so that syncs up quite nicely. But Meltzer seems to think if a WWE move were to shockingly happen, they'd probably hold off until WrestleMania, because then you could do like another Cody thing where it's like, oh, who's the person? We kind of know who the person is, but don't tell us situation. Again, we could probably go down that route. It was also said that Tony Khan seemed especially hyped up about 2024 2024, obviously. Like he's been dropping Twitter posts and things saying like 2024 in AEW is going to be like 2021 in AEW, stuff like that. Maybe he knows something we don't. Maybe he's got them both locked up to deals already. We are just speculating, but it's exciting times, isn't it, for the Okada money fans of the world?
Absolutely, yeah. Both of these are fascinating to see where they end up. Obviously, Mercedes Moné, from my money, is the best women's wrestler in the world. And seeing her wherever she goes is absolutely fascinating. But it being in AEW, I hope, we've hoped this before, but could finally be the catalyst for a bit of change within that women's division, a bit more focus put on the women's division in AEW, we should say. And yeah, just seeing her against, many talents in AEW would be absolutely incredible. But Okada's another one that's just fascinating, just because he always just felt like the New Japan lifer kind of guy, and now he's actually out there and there's a bidding war going on for him. But I mean, personally for me, I'd rather see him in WWE just because I think that's more fascinating. That's more interesting, just because how the hell does that work? And there's a lot of incredible stuff that could come out of this. But obviously he's already done stuff with AEW and might feel a bit more comfortable, especially moving countries, moving across the world to come and wrestle is a big change. So maybe you'd prefer to be somewhere where he feels a bit more comfortable. But either way, it's going to be a fascinating year for those two talents, and I very much look forward to seeing what they get up to. But that is it.
Me too.
Alright, thank y'all for watching. I'm gonna go put this stuff away and then I'll be right back.